Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wahab Kakadash, double honor to the elders and apostles, great millstone, many blessings and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the house of David, the Bath, that will die, for whom these epistles are written for in these last days. Shalom to the elect. Just came across this article, thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to bring it out to the body. So, I'm going to try to make this a more condensed lesson. I have to go to camp a little bit. So, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem, I will shine. Pray that this is edifying to those of you that have the eye salve and the ears to hear. So this is from RT News. It says, central bank step up push for digital currencies. And you already know that this ain't nothing new. This article's from 2023, but you already know the spirit that Esau's in right now. He's looking to lock down his fort on earth, right? He's looking to finally rid the earth of the Most High Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. And in order to do that, he has to get rid of his people. And he has to also come with an alternative to the system that they have now, because it's not going to be enough to just rip down the system currently and then just leave it at that, because it'll cause chaos, which he wants anyway. But he wants to replace it with a system that's going to seem upgraded from what it is right now, which is the FRNs, which is still going to be FRNs, but this devil, he thinks he's on a high level, but he's not really, right? So let's read the article. It says only over 20 digital tokens regulated by central banks and are expected to be in circulation worldwide by 2023. And we already know that's already going on right now because it's 2025. Okay. And let's just get into the article. This is a growing number of central banks around the globe are working on digital versions of their national currencies, which we've been telling you about. But what is this all leading to? What is this all leading to? This is leading to the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, okay, which is going to be inserted into your body somewhere. It's not necessarily got to be in your right hand. It can be in your brain. It can be in your left butt cheek. But it's going to be in your body, and that's what Esau wants. Okay. It says a survey by Bank for International Settlements published last week. A central bank digital currency, CBDC, is a digital payment instrument dominated, or it's like you done denominated in the national unit of account. It says, and regulated by a central bank. There are currently two types: retail for everyday use by individuals, firms, and wholesale for transactions between financial institutions. According to BSI or BIS findings, 79 of the 86 central banks surveyed said they were studying the possibility of creating some form of CBDC. Now we're already far along right now. We're already in a stage where they're getting ready to institute it to the point where that's the only form of payment. Because remember, a few years ago, when I was on the road, they had a shortage of coins. Okay, they would literally post up signs saying that we don't. If you come with more than $50, and in cash, right? We don't have the amount of money for you to get your receipt or to pay you back. Meaning we had a shortage of coins, and they had those signs posted up everywhere. Okay, now. That's when the big switch was going. Now, when this article came out, they were still in the midst of, trying to get it over. But now we're pretty much here. OK, it says over half of the national regulators said they were already conducting concrete experiments or working on trial versions of digital currencies. And keep this in mind, this is everywhere. This ain't just in America, man. This is everywhere. That's why I said small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. It don't matter who you are. You can be on the island of North Sentinel Island. You're gonna get that chip. Okay. Now the elect are not gonna take the chip, but everyone else who has no faith, no spirit, and probably not of an Israelite is going to take that chip. It says the study found that most central banks see the potential value in having both a retail and wholesale CBDC, and BIS expects there to be at least 15 retail and 9 wholesale CBDCs publicly circulating worldwide by 2030. And we're far along, aren't we? Being this at the end of 2025, almost 2026, we're far along into this. This thing is moving quite fast, and Yahweh Shemal Shah said it would. Okay, let's get that real quick. Let's go to Revelation, as we always do, right? And he's passing these laws, and he's making damn sure that the people understand that they have no options. OK, the only option is obey. This is Revelation 13:11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So this is representative of his government today. OK, he's speaking as a complete wildebeest, okay, growling, okay, using his laws to dominate the people. But he's presenting himself as someone who's coming to save the people. So the people are confused, okay, but the elect are not confused, though. It says, he exerciseth all the power of the first beast, which is the Roman Empire, okay. Remember that dragon, that old dragon, that serpent is Roman, all right. Well, it's like Esau, but the old dragon that ruled before him was the Roman Empire. OK, it says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And how was his deadly wound healed? It was healed by him creating or coming from rebirth. The Renaissance era, right? Which Renaissance means rebirth. When he was Renaissanced, when he came in out of power after, so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans who were ruling in Europe at that time. Okay. When Jacob was ruling Europe, okay, the bubonic plague took them out, right? Yahweh allowed Esau to come into power. That's the time when the Renaissance period came. And that's when he started doing iconoclasm. When he started doing iconoclasm, when he started, knocking the nose off of statues, replacing the art. OK, creating all these Edomite looking statues and pictures and things of that nature, and saying that was the actual people from the Bible, which we know is bullshit. But anyway, so during that Renaissance period, he came up. And he retook the position of number one from when he fell as the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, right? When the Western Roman Empire fell, he, went into slavery, into captivity, okay, for a little over 1,100 years, okay. This is all in history now. You can look this up. Now he's in that little season, according to Revelation 20. Let's get that right. Matter of fact, let's get that. This is Revelation 20:1. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, which is in Europe. OK, it says, and a great chain in his hand. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, which is the Roman Empire, It says that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, bound him for 1,000 years. Okay. And you listen to these bugged out Christian pastors, they don't even know what the fuck that means. All this is talk. This is history. This is thousands of years of history right here written in these few sentences right here. OK, this is talking about in Europe during the time when the Israelites. All right. They were going by another name at the time. OK, they were calling themselves Romans. Right. But they overtook Esau, the so-called white man, put him in chains, and he served for 1,000 years. And let's read a little bit more. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, which is in Europe, and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more, right, with his lies. Because since he's been removed, what has he been doing? All right, he's been on a never ending quest to just tell lies all over the place while destroying you at the same time. It says that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed for a little season. And now, here we are. We're in that little season. That little season being a little bit over 500 years. He's been in power. And look at the mayhem and destruction he has caused in this little bit of time. So now when you talk about the CBDC and things of that nature and what he plans on going forth, he wants to lock the earth down and he wants to upset this prophecy. OK. Verse 4 says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. Now that goes into a whole lot that I should have stopped earlier. But, this is just in the power of the devil's hand in that little season. We're in the season where if you don't get down with Esau's system, which we're going to go back to Revelation 13, that he's going to do something about it, and he's going to be Jurassic. He's going to be very, very unforgiving about it. He's going to make decisions that are going to cost people their lives, right? And he doesn't care because his ultimate goal is to retake the earth and get the blessing back. OK, he wants this. He wants that spiritual gift of blessing that Isaac gave unto Jacob. He wants that blessing. He thinks that's his blessing. He thinks that Jacob stole it from us. Therefore, whatever he does to Jacob is justified because he believes Jacob stole from him. That's what he believes. He truly believes that. That's why they make up these narratives about you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. The fact that you're a so-called black, Native American, and Latino is in itself a crime. OK, because he looks at you as low down, dirty scum that stole from his forefather. OK, just keep that in mind. All right. It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast, which before him, now you understand when he was shut up. Right. He went down into the bottomless pit. He was shut up. He was in captivity. He couldn't go out and lie and tell all his lies throughout the world, the known world at the time. It says, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he's doing all of this during his little season that he's ruling right now. Satan has been released from his captivity, and he is allowed to rule the entire earth, which goes back to his forefather. OK, Esau getting the blessing from his father, Isaac, who said that he would rule the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven by the sword. OK, and that's what exactly he's doing. He's ruling it with the sword. All right. It says, and doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And so now everybody is amazed at what he's doing. OK, they're having conversations throughout the earth. Is this the new God? Right. They're not saying it per se like that, but they sure are acting like it. You go over there to Africa and these people treat him like he is the fucking second coming, man. Over in Brazil, they said the same thing. They got a big statue dedicated to these devils, right? Revelation 13 and 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which, what is the image? The image is his reputation, how he rules the society, okay? How he governs the society, the laws he passed, all right? The pop culture, everything about it, the things you wear, the things you eat, okay? What is considered cool? What is the beauty standard? This is all a part of his image. Okay. Like, you remember those old Sprite commercials? Image is everything. You know what I'm saying? Your image is your reputation. Okay. It says that the image of the beast should both speak, which is his laws, because that's how it speaks, through his laws, through his statutes and commandments, right? It says, and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? And that word is separated. Let's get that. Yep.
Strong's G 575.
Apa. It says of separation, of local separation after verbs motion from a place, i.e. departing or fleeing, of separation of apart from the whole, right? So you're going to be separated from the society because you're going to be deemed a damn terrorist, a domestic terrorist at that, right? Because you're not abiding by the same rules as everybody else. Therefore, you have to be separated from us. It says, where of a whole some part is taken, of any kind of separation of one thing from another, by which the union of fellowship of the two is destroyed, of a state of separation that is of distance, right? So if you don't take his CBDC, right, which is going to be in the form of the microchip, you're going to be separated from the society. Therefore, you ain't going to be able to buy or sell. We're going to get into that, right? Verse 16, it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in his right hand, in their right hand or in their forehead. And that mark, we already know, we go into it all the time, is charagma. Let's get it anyway. Fuck it. Let's do it. Why not? We're here already. You see the word charagma or charax, a pill or stake, a palisade, right? But let's go to charagma.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma.
This is a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead. It's actually in the forehead, or right hand, as the badge of the followers of the anti-Hamashiach. It says the mark branded upon horses, thing carved. Okay, what you use when you carve something? What do you use? You're using a knife or something. You're carving into something, right? It says a sculpture, a graven work of idolatrous images. So I mean, and we go into these words. That's why these Christians don't have no clue what we're talking about. When they try to break it down, it sounds convoluted and all over the place because they don't know the words. They don't go into the words. And when they try to, the Spirit's not dealing with them. Okay. It says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. It says, and that no man might buy or sell. So there it goes back into that separation. So if you're not willing to get down with the image of the beast, right, meaning you're not going to You're not going to obey the laws. The main law being taking the microchip in your right hand or your forehead. Then you're going to be separated from the society. You're going to be deemed an outlaw, and people are going to be told to avoid you at all costs. You're going to be harassed by the local, police department or whatever they have set up. Esau has this thing planned out. Okay, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right. So going back into this article, Esau has this thing planned out. He knows exactly what he wants to do. Okay. He knows exactly what he wants to do. And he has it to where it's going to have societal effects across the world, not just in America, across the world. So there ain't no escaping this. Okay. It says, over half the national regulators said they were already conducting concrete experiments or working on trial versions of digital currencies. It says the study found that most central banks see potential value in having both a retail and a wholesale CBDC, and BIS expects there to be at least 15 retail and 9 wholesale CBDCs publicly circulating worldwide by 2030. The survey found that more banks have come closer to issuing a CBDC within the next 3 years, which, yeah, we're close to that third year, and they're already doing it. It says their number reached 16% since last year with regard to wholesale digital currencies and grew from 15% to 18% with regard to retail CBDCs. Opponents of CBDCs have been raising questions over the currencies, particularly regarding their regulation and privacy transactions. There ain't going to be one. Okay. Currency. Once you take that chip, privacy is over with. It says, however, analysts note that traditional financial institutions are increasingly enthusiastic about entering the digital market. Why? Because it's going to make you have to bow to the first beast, which is the Roman Empire. That's what this whole exercise is about. You're going to have to bow to the first beast. And if you don't, you'll be separated. Okay? It says the BIS survey shows that central banks are more bullish than ever on CBDCs. New use cases abound, and leaders from economies as diverse as Sri Lanka, Singapore, and Switzerland. Did you hear that? Sri Lanka, Singapore, and Switzerland. It says are recognizing potential benefits. These include more efficient payments, financial inclusion. We're going to get that too. It says, matter of fact, let's get that right now. All right. Financial inclusion. What does that sound like? That sounds like the Greeks to me. It sounds like this very same Greek empire that ruled thousands of years ago. Right? This is First Maccabees 1:41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Financial inclusion, right? He wants everyone to be under the same banner. New use cases abound, and leaders from economies as diverse as Sri Lanka, Singapore, and Switzerland are recognizing potential benefits. These include more efficient payments, financial inclusion, and faster monetary policy implementation. It says a well-designed CBDC could actually be a huge catalyst for innovation. Businesses and consumers would be able to automate complex and cumbersome processes and implement logic into money. These are currently four central banks. No, it's like there are currently four central banks that have issued a retail CBDC, according to BIS. The Bahamians, the Bahamas, the Eastern Caribbean, Jamaica, and Nigeria. And notice that those are mostly Jake countries. Interesting. So, what do you think's going to happen here? This devil is getting ready to make his move. And for all of you that have been talking shit for years about the elders and apostles, saying you guys are bugged out, GMS is all it, blah, blah, blah. Y'all talking about everything else going on in the world except for what matters, which is prophecy. And then once you're confronted with this prophecy, now you hubba, you backpedaling. But the men of the Lord are going to tell you the truth no matter if you want to hear it or not. And guess what? The elect are going to hear that message and they're going to run to the streets and they're going to report what they heard as prophesied. Okay? So this thing is coming. Keep fucking around and thinking and waiting and thinking this ain't going to happen. This is happening now. And this article from a couple of years ago. So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, I pray that this was edifying. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shema Shai, Shema Kadash, Shalom to the elect.